First one, so March 17th, the Miami Heat trade Myers Leonard and a 2027 second round pick to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and in exchange they get Trevor Ariza. I think it's pretty obvious why they made this trade. Regardless, feel about what Myers Leonard said, right? Some of you might think he's a racist, some of you might not. That's not my place to say. I really don't care. From a PA perspective, from the perspective of how the optics look of keeping a player like Myers on our team, the reality is he was going to fall out of the rotation anyways, because even though he could stretch the floor, he was kind of a weird fit for me because defensively, they like hustle players. Myers Leonard is a notably poor defender. Kelly Olynyk is actually a better defender than Leonard, even though Leonard has a lot more strength to him. Offensively, they like bigs that can move the ball around because, the bigs are the tallest players in the court. They can see the most. It makes sense. If more bigs could pass the ball and handle the ball, more bigs would probably be running your offense just because they're taller. Myers Leonard was like, if you watch Heat games, there are passes that you'll see Bam make. There are passes you'll see Kelly Olynyk make. There are passes you'll see. I know statistically it doesn't look like Precious Achiuwa really moves the ball at all, but he does, just to a lot lesser degree. That Myers Leonard misses, right? Like some pretty backdoor cuts that you'll see some of the other players in the Heat make. Myers Leonard will miss that pass, or he'll throw it late and it'll end up a turnover. So he was going to probably follow the rotation anyways. So it really doesn't make sense, especially from an optics perspective, to keep a player like Myers Leonard, who for your specific team is a fringe rotation piece, if it's a bad look to have him on your team to begin with. Now, the Oklahoma City Thunder have already said that Myers Leonard will not play a game for them. They're either going to trade him or cut him. Surprised. The only way Myers Leonard is going to have, because like I said, that whole optics look, Myers Leonard is just not a good enough player from an NBA to risk having a bad optic for having him on your team. Basically, if you don't desperately need his floor spacing ability, and there's plenty of other bigs you can get that from, there is little to no need to have him on your roster. Myers Leonard's career in the NBA is probably done. Like I said, it really doesn't matter if you think he's a racist or not. Personally, I don't. COD brings out the worst in people, and people say some really dumb shit. I've heard far worse in Call of Duty lobbies, and I don't even play COD all that much, so I could only imagine what's heard on a day-to-day basis than just simply, what he said. But it doesn't. He's a public figure, which is really weird to say that Myers Leonard is a public figure, but I digress. He's a public figure, and you can't do that when you're a public figure. They're already looking for every possible angle they can to throw your name through the mud, and when you say something dumb like that, you've signed your death warrant career-wise. So, as far as the Miami Heat side of things, could potentially be a solid addition, kind of like a downgraded version of Jay Crowder, since they're pretty much the same player, defensive players that can stretch the floor. But Jay Crowder's in his prime, not in his mid to late 30s like Trevor Ariza is. But more than likely, unless they see something in Trevor Ariza that we haven't seen in the last couple of years, he was very simply just cap filler to get out of Meyers Leonard's contract. It was very much a low risk, high reward, like potentially high reward deal from Miami. The low risk is Trevor this year, and then the high reward is he proves to be a valuable rotation piece as they make their play. So that's really all this deal was. If you like this video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. You know the drill. The fuck is